Hey, 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 Dave Duford here. I'm with Mr. Cody Askins. How you doing today, Cody?
I
Yeah,
am great.
we are
Thank you
here
so much.
yeah, you're welcome. Glad to have you. We're here to talk about things we wish we knew when we started our insurance careers now that we've made all the stupid mistakes. So the purpose of today's call is really to flow out our experiences and wisdom to you guys out there, probably mostly new, on what you can do, I think, as newer agents to avoid some of the pain, heartache, and mistakes that I know I've made. I'm sure Cody has as well. So we're going to kind of do this interview, and not so much of an interview, but more of a conversational style. Go over some things that we've mutually come up with, and that have been big lessons that have happened. So I'm going to start off by going into this, and I want to hear, Cody, your take on this. Selling insurance is easy to overcomplicate. What's your thoughts on that? Has that been the case for you, or have you seen
Oh
others
my
who have
gosh.
overcomplicated it?
So true. Also, I'm in Costa Rica. I think we should have swapped shirts today. Yours would have
I know,
fit
I'm
way
very
better
festive. You
here
look very Missouri.
for real. Um, yeah, but I think this is a really important topic because there's certain different personalities that want to know everything before they do anything, overthink everything, complicate everything. But at the end of the day, I truly believe, and new agents, they may not love this, but it's true, which is why we do what we do, is the best way to learn is by doing. The best way to gain skill
Doing?
is by doing.
You mean picking the phone up and
Just
talking to people? What?
exactly. Yeah. And I realize it's like, dude, it's super heavy. It's like, oh my gosh, dude, I gotta pick
I
this
know.
thing up
Oh,
150
yeah.
a day, right? But dude, you guys want to grow up and be David Duford? You had to pick it up too.
Yeah. Well, there's a time for train, there's season to everything, right? Let's get biblical here. We got to practice, we got to study, we got to get ready. But at some point, you have to take a leap of faith, and try the thing out, right? I mean, you started in insurance. What, you were 18?
19 as an intern and 20 as a full-time agent. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, your dad sold insurance, so hopefully he was yelling this stuff at you. You should go do it already. So, but did you get right out there and start selling, or did you have an onboarding period? And was it messy starting selling? Like, kind of go over that.
Yeah, I mean, initially, I went to a meeting and there was 10 of us in the room, and the manager said, "All right, this was like I was an intern and I saw people making money, and I'm like, you know what? If this cat can do this, this dude's like 472 years old. There's no way I
Yeah.
can't do
Yeah.
this." Um, and so I went to a recruiting meeting. There's about 10 of us in the room, and the manager had everybody stand up, and he says, "Now take a look around." I'm like, okay, dude, I can. I'm like, I don't know. Does he want us to size each other up? I'm not sure. I'm like, I can
Yeah.
take him. I don't know about her. And he said, okay, now 9 of you sit down. He left one person standing. He did not leave me standing. And what he said next is a big part of what we do. He said, maybe one of you will make it.
Maybe.
And yeah, I'm really competitive. And so I'm like, dude, if only one, are you kidding me? I'm like, that's a real positive way to start this thing. Number one. Number two, I'm like, dude, if there's going to be one, dude, I am going to make sure that I'm that person. Sports background, super competitive. Fortunately for me, I've had parents who made me believe I could do anything.
Right.
As an example of that, like literally, I went to my dad after that meeting and said, "Hey, I need a goal. My first year in sales, I'm starting to listen to some sales stuff. I'm like, I need a goal." He said, "You're my son. You'll make 6 figures your first year." And I'm like,
Nice.
"What?" You know what I mean? And it sounds cool to say, "Hey, I made 100 grand my first year," but dude, when I look back, I, I believed like everybody else in this call. I'm like, freak, I don't know, bro. Like I'm like looking around, like who's he talking to?
Right.
Who the freak talking to? But what's cool about that is he instilled belief in me that I could do anything before I believed that I could. That's what Dave does. That's what a lot of the people in the industry do. That's the kind of mentors and uplines you should have in the industry that believe in you more than you believe in yourselves. Now, they're not going to drag you to success, but they need to help you see what's possible and believe it. And so that's one of the biggest things. Like I did not see it at first, but then after he said you're going to make 6 figures, I actually took out literally a piece of paper just like this. I wrote down I will earn $100,000 my first year in the insurance business at 20 years old. Dated it, signed it, and hung it up on the wall of my cubicle. And then every day I went out to make that a reality. Somebody slammed the phone in my ear. I would see it. You're going to make six figures. I come back from a terrible door knocking session. Boom, you're going to make six figures. I come in from like having a terrible off night playing basketball the night before. Boom, you're going to make six figures. Someone's a veteran agent's a freaking jerk to me down the hall. Boom, you're going to make six figures. You know, whatever. Like personal, professional stuff goes on. My relationships going to crap with my, you know, with my girlfriend at the time, whatever, right? Boom, you're going to make six figures. And I saw it enough and believed it enough and wrote it down enough that it eventually came true. But I had to work to do it.
Got to work. But I have to agree here. I've got my little goal book here. You know, I think I started this like 6 years ago, and incidentally, that's when things started picking up. I've got like, this is like you can get these on Amazon. They're nice, leather bound. I think Cody's probably got his. There it is. Yep, he's got his. Is it branded? Of course, it's branded. Yes.
Right.
But
That was one thing I wish I knew sooner was branding. So there you go.
yeah, I know, right? That's my next goal, my next step. So, but yeah, writing the stuff down is the first step to making the thoughts a thing, right? You know, and I think there's some value in that, and repeating that till you actually believe the stuff you think, you know, and repetition, very important. Two on the list here. One thing, man, this is what I wish I knew, and this is that brain getting in the way, right? Is simple does not mean easy. You know, the business is simple, right? But sure as heck isn't easy. I mean, I remember getting into this business and, you know, and it's kind of an extension of the first one, is overcomplicating what should be simple. In final expense, at least, it's all about seeing the people. Nowadays, it's over the phone or it's in person, but it's still fundamentally the same thing. You get leads, you talk to them, you build value, and you assume the sale, right? And you repeat the business. And so it's very, very easy to let this thing get out of hand, right? You know, I know when I started inventing new marketing pieces, and I'm kind of a marketer at heart, and I got away from the fundamentals of direct mail at the time in 2012, and it caused me to fail out of the business, right? And there's a lot of agents that do the same thing. You know, they'll come in, they'll come up with these highfalutin ideas and different ways to sell, but it's outside of the norm of the fundamentals. And then, you know, they take what should be complicated or should be simple and then make it complicated. Have you seen any of that as well in your time or anything like that?
100%. Like I think what was a hurdle for me a little bit. Like I will have goals and I will work. I think the biggest hurdle I struggle with is I'm very entrepreneurial, so I like to find my own way a lot of
Yeah,
times.
100%.
The problem with that is, dude, there's so many freaking systems that have been proven that Dave and tons of other success people have already laid the groundwork of. And it's interesting because when you come in the industry, um, dude, don't do what I did. I would bring over college kids and we would cold call and to book appointments, and then we'd do these call nights on Monday nights, and then I would go and like I'd give them pizza and scripts and a cold call final expense list for different counties, and I would train them and I get on the phones with them. I get them excited, give them, you know, gift cards and cash for booking appointments and all this stuff, right? It was fun, 2 or 3 hours. I'd walk out of there with 8, 12, 16, 20 appointments. It sounds cool, but it was cold calling. So 50, 60, 70% wouldn't show up for sure.
Right.
And it was college kids doing the cold calling when they've never done it before, even worse. And I didn't even learn some of the like tactics that you can use to like lock an appointment down, right? Some of those
Right.
things. However, and then when I was door knocking, literally just, hey, can I come in?
Yeah.
Hey, can I come? Right. When there's so many other things that you can do nowadays, like the best thing you can do, and I think that's why you guys have clicked on this video and you're hanging out with Dave and I. What an amazing dude, by the way. Love Dave. Trust him with my life, and anything he says, I promise you, he's gonna back up and do. That's not true about everybody, but I freaking love this cat. I'm serious. He was actually the reason that I started getting on YouTube a little bit because I was seeing him in Westfall, and I'm like, dude, I think I can train a little. I didn't know what
Right.
it would evolve into, right? But I appreciate you for paving the way. But I do want to say that like the best thing you can do out of everything we'll probably say is find someone who is actually doing what you say you want to do or has done what you say you want to do and follow them and do exactly what they say. Like I'm at least, I'm not that smart. I make a ton of freaking mistakes. We're talking about mistakes earlier. Like, dude, I don't know if anybody that's made as many mistakes as me. Like, I'm a dummy. I can do some math and I can spell, but like, I'm not that smart. I make mistakes constantly. My team caught a mistake earlier. I'm like, I ain't perfect, that's for sure. However, I've been very coachable. even though my ego likes to get in the way, at the end of the day, like I've been very coachable. And if Dave says, hey, dude, do it this way. No, 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 don't do that. That's stupid. Do it this way and you'll see success. But I'm telling you, if I'm trying to do what Dave's doing, I'm going to follow it to a T. And I'm not going to argue. I may ask questions so I understand. But I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to question, you know what I mean? All the things that happens. And so I think that's one of the best things you can do to keep it really simple.
You know, and this kind of gets into our the next one, the value of engaging with high level people in the industry. I think mentorship falls into that category, right? Um, yeah, I mean, I think back to the people who have been the most successful in our agency, the agents that are writing 10, 15,000 plus a week in final expense. They're easy to get along with. I think from like, okay, what did they all have in common? They're easy to get along with. They take orders well and they put them into action, right? There's not a lot of doubt, and it's okay to doubt and question things, but they take action pretty quickly and they trust in us to deliver, right? So I think from a standpoint of you guys out there who are new, the more that you can emulate that, like Cody's saying, is just come in under somebody's tutelage that knows what they're doing, who has a track record. The best thing you do is just soldier up, you know, and follow orders and be coachable and understand that us on our side, especially running an agency, like we have the system, we know it works. And the more people we can convince to follow it, the more money you're going to make and I'm going to make. It's all mutually, like there's not an ego thing. It's not us trying to beat you up. It's just, we know it works and we want you to take action on it so that you can be successful, you know?
Can I add some of that note too? I was thinking
Yeah.
about this when you were talking about this. It's interesting because like in school, when you're going through grade school, middle school, elementary school, I went to Christian school, so I don't even know what to call half of them, high school, etc. Um, do they let you choose like what you study, what pages you do, if you do your homework or not, what happens? No, like they're like, dude, do this or you fail.
Right.
And we're trained in school, like fall in line. Like literally, I went to a little Christian school called Liberty Faith in Norwood, Missouri, town of nobody. Had to drive 35 minutes to class every day
Oh,
for
wow.
school at 16, 17, 18 years old. And I'd be 18 years old. We would have recess, like little breaks or whatever in the gym. We'd play ping pong and basketball. I'd have to come back and get in line up behind other high schoolers to walk back to class in a single file flipping line. You'd think I'd been in military school, right? Crazy. Well, then you mentioned military. Dude, same thing. When you're in the military, you're militaristic, but when you're in the military, like, do they let you choose what time you wake up and if you do this and if you fly there or who you listen to? You can listen to the colonel, but the general, you can ignore what he says. Who cares? No, no, no. Like, dude, you freaking follow the letter or they kick you out. Why do they do those things? Because they think, I'm not saying it's always true, but they think their way of doing it after hundreds or thousands of years of studies or whatever is the best. Well, dude, but it's interesting when we become an entrepreneur, all that goes out of the wayside. We forget it all. Who
Freedom,
freaking,
man. I can do what I want. It's my business.
yeah, I'm 30. Dave doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm
Yeah.
40, I'm 50. Dave, I'm 62 and I've been selling cars for 40 years. I'm a freaking gangster, man. I know what I'm doing.
Right.
No, no, no. At the end of the day, dude, you fell in line in school. If you were in the military, you freaking fell in line. When you're in the insurance industry, fall in line and do what people say. Even if it's not us, like, I don't care if you do what I say or not, but like, dude, do what Dave says. Do what your mentor says. It's cool because there's certain companies in the industry that I respect because, dude, they have to like check with their mentor. I think it's a little extreme sometimes. We have to check with their mentor before they make a decision on anything.
Sure.
But at least they're falling in line and checking what's happening,
Right.
and listening and following orders.
Yeah, it is a thing I think entrepreneurs to be very wary of. And anybody on a straight commission is all the things that, you know, on some level we kind of maybe despise this kind of like disciplinarian type of setup. Like it is the thing that helps you succeed, especially now. Maybe not then, but especially now. Like you can't be successful in this business without a system, a rigorous system of applying your actions on a consistent basis. And the crazy thing is, you know, a lot of times it's self-directed, you know, and this is again where a good mentor comes in that's going to hold you accountable. Do you find that as you've gone up in the scale of your life professionally that that rule still applies even at the higher echelons. Like you come under somebody's tutelage or mentorship and they give you advice. Do you feel like it's the same thing that you see as it was in the beginning as it is later on?
Yep. I still have people that I go to seek advice. Actually, what's cool, dude, Dave and I professionally, we bounce ideas off each other all the time, which I respect and I appreciate and love. But dude, I still have people that like, I can tell you this, the biggest hurdle I've faced with doing what we're doing and growing everything we're doing, conference, YouTube channel, traveling, the tour, all that kind of stuff, right? The companies is is the moment I think that Cody Askins has arrived and I'm freaking amazing and I'm never going to make another mistake again, everything I touch turns to gold, that's the point everything starts going to crap. Or
Yeah.
when I stop listening to people, or I stop paying to get in the rooms, or I stop paying to get around people, or I stop having mentors in my life that I seek advice from. The biggest mistakes I've made in my career was because I let things go to my head. And it's the truth. It sucks. I'm being vulnerable, but it's 100% the truth because I'm a very confident individual. There's downfalls to that. And at the end of the, or you let like, a bunch of people in the industry know who David Duford is. Yeah, but the cool thing about Dave is he's very freaking humble. He doesn't care. He's way more humble than me in most cases, and I need to rub shoulders a little more with you so I can help me with that. Because at the end of the day, like that's what holds people back is by letting all the success go to their head. You see celebrities, professional athletes, like dude, they don't even talk to people. They don't even talk to humans anymore. They can't even speak to a regular human because they're up here. No, dude, the moment that happens, like I'm going backwards. I'm sliding backwards for sure.
Yeah. I think it happens. We're all at risk of it. Right. And I think it's just the outcome of being a highly driven person, and people who are going to be successful watching this are going to face the same, potential pitfalls. I know for me personally, one thing that really helped me is doing jujitsu because
Mm,
anytime I feel like I'm hot shit and then I get in there and I get like smashed by somebody who's twice my age and, which happens multiple times a week, it keeps me humble, and it's like, okay, I'm,
totally.
I'm
I
not, I'm
saw that
not
the other day.
all I think I am.
I saw it the other day on you shared your calendar or shared a screenshot or something, and I saw jujitsu. Like it was different times, but it was every day. And I was like, bro,
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. Like for that video, I said, yeah, I go. It's on the calendar. You got to put stuff on the calendar. You make sure you do your thing.
dude, I was like, man, you know what? And we hung out in Springfield. This is a side note, but it applies. We hung out in Springfield. This was last year, maybe year
Year
and a
and a
half
half,
ago.
something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah,
And I think we were doing like a YouTube retreat, and dude, you were on a very strict diet, and you were eating Chipotle,
it's
and
pretty easy to be on a Chipotle diet.
yeah, it is. I mean, you were like, dude, I do steak and rice, and I don't do much else.
It's pretty good.
Uh, was steak rice? What was it? Was there a third ingredient, or was that pretty much it?
Well, one night I put like too much pico de gallo on it. Please God, don't do that, guys. It'll just, you know.
You know what's crazy is though, dude, you were here on like a Tuesday through Friday, I think,
hmm
and you ate Chipotle literally like 9 times,
Yeah,
whatever
I
the
ate a
math
lot. Yeah.
whatever the math was. I was like, dude, this is why this cat has been so successful. And you even, I love that you even talk about how you failed before and you came back in the industry and you did it different. But dude, like, you people can relate to your story because you're vulnerable about that. But dude, I was like, this cat is so freaking disciplined. You're more organized than me. You're more thorough than me. Like, there's a lot of things I wish I was more like you in some regards, but you are so freaking disciplined. And guys, if that means, dude, I've got to buy leads every week and call them every day and run 15 appointments and I'll find success. What's so complicated about that? You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
That's ultimately what it is. We can throw in a lot of other stuff, but then it's just going to come back. And this is the next thing on here. Fundamentals are fundamentals for a reason, right? Like when you have me or your mentor or Cody, we're talking about this basic stuff that you've heard 15 million times before. It's like, Dave, give us the secret and all this stuff. Like that, the secret is this, like, it's an open secret. If you would just follow the fundamentals over time and consistently execute, what you're going to find, Cody's probably seen this too, is that most people can't do what we're talking about or won't do it. Can't, won't. We could debate that. But the truth of the matter is, you get a year in, 2 years, 3 years, you think of the people in your office that you started off with at wherever you were selling life insurance, like people find a way not to do the fundamentals. They start concocting new ideas and they fall off, they fail. But the agents who are just steady eddies and they're just executing the plan over time, those are the ones that get ahead. And that's the secret, is fundamentally doing the fundamentals long term.
Yes. Yep. It always drives me nuts when someone's like, okay, Cody, so I made $5,000. I had a guy recently. He's like, I did 8 grand my first week. I'm like, dude,
That's
great
good.
job. That's really good. I mean, it's almost the problem is people like worship people when they do 8 grand. So then they're like, then that's like the bar, you know what I mean? Versus like, hey, like Dave just said, that's good. You know what I mean? He's not going to be like bowing down and like, oh
Right.
my God, and like picking people up in the air and throwing them up in the air and all this other stuff, right? Giving them trophies and giving them cash. And, or here's an example. I had a guy, dude, he came to me and said, hey, I did 20 grand my first 2 months. I'm like, or my last 2 months or whatever of the year, January, February. I'm like, 20K, like, no, he said 10K per month, 20K in 2 months. I'm like, dude, that's good. It's a good start, right?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, but I'm on a lower comp level and I got to buy my own leads and I get a 9 month advance, obviously, and I have chargebacks. And he's like, I made like $800 a week. And I'm like, okay, number one, you're doing something wrong. If you're making like 3 grand out of 20, right? However, um, I'll get some agents that are like, I did 5 grand. How can I do the same amount next week and work half as much? I'm like, bro, that's the wrong question. You know what I mean? Like, really? But that's where people's brains go. And what Dave's saying is, you did 5, do it again, do
Yeah.
it again. And then maybe your skill gets a little bit more refined and the 5 turns into 5,500 or 6 or 6,250. And you're like, wait, so I'm not going to 4X in my first month? Probably not. Like, dude, if you could just do 5, like, think about this $260,000 a year in premium. That's a very good year.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a, I
It's,
mean,
and the other thing is we have our whole lives too. Like Rome wasn't built in a day. It takes a long time to do and be anything spectacular, and you have to, and again, that's what goes, if you go back to having that mindset over the long term, people are thinking week to week. We all think moment to moment on some level, but I think taking your perspective from the moment to moment and the further off you can delay gratification, and think of the long term, I think the higher you'll eventually go in life. And the other thing too, I'll say I've experienced too, it's not formula, it's formulaic, but it's not on a linear graph upwards. Like my career in the first 10 years was like, if you think of a graph and you think of the income, it's like this for the first 7, 8 years. And then 8, 9, 10 is like this, right? And you may be in year 5 and you're like, I could be working corporate America doing the same thing, not dealing with the same amount of crap, right? But you can't see beyond the next couple of years, and everything that you've accumulated, the skill sets, the mistakes, which absolutely have value, they're all driving towards something that can, once they're all queued together, can possibly be quadratic in its capability to multiply your income. I
no
mean,
doubt.
I've seen that. It's the hockey stick analogy is a reason. It's common for a reason. And point is, guys, it's stick to the fundamentals. The outputs aren't always going to be what you want, but I assure you, over time, if you have that kind of consistency, again, you're going to be the only ones left standing eventually.
Yep. We tend to get we tend to we tend to be very hard on ourselves, and we're like I personality wise, for whatever reason, dude, I wake up and I need to work on me more, but like I wake up like I've not accomplished much and that I'm like frustrated and feel behind all the time, right? And I think there's a lot of other entrepreneurs that feel the same way, or we wouldn't be doing this crazy entrepreneurial world.
Yeah, I have this image of all of these successful people in the room, like there's all feel bad for themselves and like shit, I'm not a successful. It's kind of ironic if you're like, well, what are y'all complaining about? Y'all have done this and that. But it's the thing that just, it's always in you. I think that's part of what drives you, is you could know you could do more and you could do better. And it's just,
100%.
yeah.
I bet that'll probably come up a lot. Well, we're doing Dave and I are doing an influencer invitational retreat here in about a beginning of May. And I bet that'll come up a lot because you'll get a group of all these people together. But one of the things I was just thinking about too, when you were talking about that is, but one thing that's helped me, two things. One, I write down every day what I'm grateful for. right? At the very top, right? Grateful, long-term goals, today's goals, right? So the couple things I would say, one, writing down what I'm grateful for every day has allowed me to see the good in stuff. Like I get frustrated and then I'll have somebody that'll send me like a really long message or an email or something about, how their life is just better and they were going to, they were single mom and they were homeless, they were going to quit all this stuff, right? And they found our content and wow, my life is getting better and I'm believing myself more and you guys are helping me, right? Which is amazing. Love that. And then my wife would be like, won't you like slow down and chill out and take a breath? And she's like, find the win. And she's like, there's so many wins. Find the win. And so I want to tell the agents out there, like, dude, if you're struggling, find the win. Like we had an agent recently that they're working with us at on our Kaboom leads, and they got 54 final expense leads in like 3 or 4 days. And they're like, bro, this is they ordered 40, they had a couple of replacements. We sent them a few extra. And they're like, that's way too fast. That's too many leads. Wait. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like too fast? Like but dude, they're not finding the win, right? Because they're only looking for the negative. Our personalities want to only focal point on the negative, but at the end of the day, we need to find the win and be positive. And there's so many things to be grateful for in life, so many things. And so I'm trying to get, maybe jujitsu would help me with this, but I'm trying to get better at that and just being positive and finding the win and realizing how, God has blessed us with an amazing life and to be grateful.
Absolutely. Sticking to the script. Boy, I wish I would have done that. I wish my agents sometimes would do that.
Yeah, but they know better, Dave. They can write better.
They can what now?
They can take your script that has been.
Oh, that's right. They know more than I do. That's right. That's right. All right.
For sure. Your script's only done about 20 million in premium the last couple of years. That they can do it better for sure.
Yeah. Again, I think of the things that the good agents are doing that, I came up with my own script when I first started, and that was a bit of and it's funny too, because it took me many, many years to realize certain things that I think if I just did what I was presented with, that I would have gotten where I was going faster. Like one of the things I always had a problem with, it sounds stupid because we're in sales, was like assumptive closing. Like I am not an assumptive person. Like take me out and me and you in civil society, I don't assume anything. I try to be, non-assumptive. But I never liked being assumptive in any capacity. I took that, again, that preconceived notion that you can never be assumptive, and I applied it to the script that we did. And it would get sales. But what I've realized is that what assumption shows is confidence. And confidence is the thing that drives the sale. It's not the product itself. It's the agent and their disposition. And I think looking back, and this took many years and years and years and years to realize this, if I would just do what I was told, and then learned from the execution of it versus letting this mental obstacle get in the way, then maybe it would have made more sales I didn't get, because people didn't think I was being kind or I was trying to be fair, but maybe that came off as being weak and lack of confidence. You know what I mean? So it's again, it's interesting.
Yep.
Again, how much, if I just did it, I would have been, if I just took the straight line from A to B versus the circuitous route, contemplating and thinking and justifying to get there, it would have saved years,
Totally.
That's the kind of stuff that I think some people think they need to personalize the script or they need to rationalize it in a way that makes it make sense to them. But you don't know what you don't know. And more reason to go back to what you said is just do what you're told. Like accept the fact that you have ignorance. That's not a bad thing. But by the execution of this thing, you'll uncover things that you didn't even think about and have realizations you didn't think about.
Yes. There's I was thinking about like if you were, say you were, I don't know, Will Smith, and they give him a movie script, but back when he's a rookie.
Yeah, rookie. Yeah.
Rookie Will Smith. And he's like, dude, he's in like a backup role. And they're like, here's your script, memorize it, and you're going to do it on camera tomorrow. What if he showed up with a whole different script? Totally different, right? Yeah. Or let's say like Kevin Hart. They talk about in Kevin Hart, it's like a podcast or something, that he goes and does all these, like we see him do Netflix specials in front of 80,000 people in an arena, where he starts out refining jokes and seeing what people laugh at small comedy clubs, and he does it over and over and over and over and over. Then when he gets to the big club, do you think he changes the whole script, or does he do the refined version where it got refined by him, but in our industry it got refined by somebody else, right? And it gets refined and it keeps growing. Like my first time emceeing an event at our 8% Nation conference, I've got an MC that I've paid 25 grand a year for several years. And in 2020, I'm like, hey, I want to learn how to MC because I'm gonna start MCing my own conference. He's like, okay. So I'm hanging out with him and the tech people. And they're like, hey, when you go on stage, when you're the last sentence, when you're about to bring somebody out, right? And please welcome to the stage. They say you need to pause in the middle so the AV team knows it's your last sentence before they bring them out. Pause in the middle. Please welcome to the stage, David Dufour. And I'm like, what? Like pause in the middle thing? I'm like, bro, this is too much. Like it's freaking me out, right? However, they had a system and a script that worked for all their events that they wanted me to stick to, right? So at the end of the day, it works everywhere else in life. I mean, you want people like people that are parents on this call, you want your teachers to stick to a script. Now, I'm not saying you like the script that they're sticking to sometimes in public schools. I get all that, right?
Sure.
But you want them to stick to the script that has made other kids not dumb to a degree, or at least semi-smart, or at least the right information, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, we want to stick. Like Dave wants Chipotle to stick to the script. He doesn't want them to put freaking tons of pico and queso and like all this other crap, dude. It's going to ruin his diet. He's like, bro, I want steak, rice, white rice, and maybe a little bit of pico, right, dude? He stuck to the script because he has, I think he has nutritionist or somebody you're working with that was like, stick to the script. And guess what? Dave sticks to the script as well as anybody. But insurance agents, I don't need this thing.
Yeah, and the thing you guys have to realize is that there's always going to be this loud minority that screams and says things like scripts don't work. I sell X amount and do fine without a script. But they actually use a script. They just don't realize they use a script. They have a process that they go through. It's just intuitive. But if you listen to it, I've heard these with these agents, it's a script. It's a process they do to open the call, progress it, and close it. And it is really true to think about it. Like everything in life has a process. We want processes, right? Because it leads to predictable outcomes. And you're involved in the process now, and you might as well use something that gives a predictable outcome, preferably one that's been proven to, right? So, if you're going to throw a script out, let it be the one that doesn't work or has not been proven to work. But geez, if you find one that works and there's evidence to do it, what do you got to lose? You have everything to gain.
You're right. I just thought about one other thing really quick. You mentioned, you know who Yakov Smirnoff is? Russian comedian, Branson, Missouri. He travels and does comedy. He's 73. Decently famous comedian, but not like Kevin Hart.
Right.
He's been doing it for decades. Dude, we're managing his podcast now. And we go in this room and we're filming this podcast with Duncan Trussell. He's like a big time comedian. I didn't really know him. Dylan loves him. We're managing his podcast. So we go in the green room of the blue room backstage to like help with this podcast. And he's starting the comedy couch, which is really cool. Dude, as soon as the podcast is over, he points at me and says, Cody, out in the hall. I'm like, yes, sir. Right. I'm like, okay, what's going on? We go out in the hall. He's like, okay, coach me. I'm like, what? He's like, you do podcast, you do video, you hang out. He might as well said, you hang out with David Dufour. I don't know what I'm doing. I've never done a podcast. I'm a comedian. What should I do better? What can I improve? What I do good? What I do weak? What did you like? What did you not like? I'm like, this dude's a multimillionaire. He's known by millions of people around the world. He's 73. I'm 33. He's got to be about 40 years. And he still wants people to tell him what to do. Right. I'm like, bro, I was beyond impressed by that. But the brand new insurance agent that's 23, that's new to the business and never done sales, they know more than David Dufour.
Right. Yeah. So just stick to the script, guys. Trust me. Give it a week. I promise you. Please. Earnestly do it. You'll be happy. Brand building. Don't you wish you did that earlier?
Oh my gosh, dude.
And we did it early. I mean, I started 10 years ago. I think today marks 10 years, or we're real close to it. It might be next month, but
wow, dude, congrats.
I mean, if I didn't build my brand, then I'd just be some other dude recruiting, you know, and I just wish I wish I would have done on more platforms. I wish I would have done it earlier. Like the power of brand is everything, guys.
Stupid. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I've just hit eight years a couple months ago, and man, dude, like it's I mean, I started when I was 25, so it's like, okay, I still started pretty young, but dude, I wish I started at 5, 10,
Yeah.
15, 20, you know. Um, I wish when I'd have been struggling outdoor knocking, I'd have been recording videos and just putting them up, you know.
Right there. Yeah.
It's crazy what it can do, because now what's cool about it is Dave does not have to recruit for DIG, right? Whether you dig it or not, he doesn't have to. Okay. But he does. But because he built a brand, people come to him.
Right.
Everybody else is begging freaking waitresses and bartenders and Uber drivers to like freaking work with them. You know what I mean? Twisting people's arm to work with them. No, making crazy promises for them to work with them. Dave's like, if you won't do this or invest in your business or follow this process, you're not going to work with me. Like he's not going to deviate, but it's because he built a brand and he did it for years and years and years. Even when he didn't want to, he still did it.
What would you suggest as far as think of the agents out there whom they're like, hey, maybe I could put some educational content out there for selling insurance, their products. What are some tips you would give them as far as like what to talk about, first couple of videos, the jitters, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so it's interesting on that note. I've got a agent that's in our Ultimate Agent Academy that I had I did a 4-week series on how to use social media to gain clients. And she stuck to the system. She's like, I followed it to the T, and she used it and she put it up, and she's writing over 5K a week since October from
Wow.
just posting organic videos on TikTok.
Good for her. All right, man.
And she sells life insurance, right? Crazy. She does like life insurance compared to like regular life insurance compared to like life insurance at work, right? And that's her
Oh, wow.
niche.
Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah.
Focuses on that, and she does really well. However, some of the key things is like, here's another example. We had an agent named Katrina that was in our office for a week, and we were sitting in doing a private session, and I said, give me your phone. I said, what's one of these videos um, that you shot? Because she's wanting to do more social stuff, but she's like, I've never posted anything. I'm like, okay, is there a video that you've done that you like that you haven't posted? She said, yes. I said, okay, show it to me. She gives it to me, like, okay, let me look at it. I give her phone back. Later, she came up, she's like, you posted the video. I'm like, so while we were sitting there, I posted that video on her Facebook without
Oh,
telling her.
oh, wow.
And what's crazy about that is she sold 2 policies in the next 24 hours just by
Wow.
organically posting the video. Well, you could say, okay, what's the catch? How do I do this? Well, the biggest thing, especially with social, TikTok, etc., Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, is the hook in the very beginning of the video. Most important thing. Everything else you can figure out. Editing you can figure out. You can use CapCut. Like, you don't have to complicate stuff, right? Dave knows how to edit videos a little bit. I do not at all. I have a team that's freaking amazing. I have no freaking clue. I've also been really good at delegating with the brand piece, right? Which has helped
But
a
it's
lot.
it's formulaic. That's your point. It's not,
Totally.
yeah.
Totally formulaic. I had one video that it got like 1.4 million views on YouTube Shorts about me doing push-ups. And I did push-ups 364 out of 365 days last year. I missed a day, but I was vulnerable and honest about it, right? I do 100 push-ups a day. And it's, I mean, I get it. You can't really tell. I'm not that big, right? However, that was what about half of the comments were like, this dude's a liar, scam artist. No, look at his chest, no arms. He's never done push-ups in his life. Are you freaking kidding me? What's wrong with this guy? Right? All this stuff. However, one of the comments, which is so funny, one of the comments was like, um, one of the comments was like, you had me at, because I said, I do these 5 things every day. That's how I started the video. She's like, you had me hooked. As soon as you said, I do 5 things every day. Right. So you've got to figure, I always think about that when I'm shooting short form content. What is the hook? Like, I was shooting a video walking here with my wife because I dropped her off at the spa to get a massage before I came to the room. We scheduled them both at the same time, which worked out great. And I did a video and I was like, hey, which one of us is wrong? Dude, people love people being wrong, right? And so there's
Oh,
a
yeah.
hook I'll be putting that video up probably tomorrow. I sent it to the team, but you've got to find, you'll figure it out and get better at it. But the hook is a really important piece.
It really is. Yeah. And it's the same argument we made from the get-go. I mean, guys, I've got an agency owner in my downline that, if he put out some content of him selling or doing stuff or training agents, I mean, he'd have a nice little following within a short period of time, but he won't take the very first step. You got to put something out there. It's never going to be perfect. But Cody and I's first one certainly wasn't either, but you got to start somewhere. And that's the thing. The person who takes action and consistently executes, just like in insurance sales, it's the one who gets the pot of gold, So
100%. My first video, if you guys go back and watch it, December 28th of 2015, awful. So awful, terrible. But there's really 3 reasons why people don't post content. And if you're not posting content, but you want to, maybe these will help you. 1, you're worried about what other people are going to think about you. Okay? That's human, but the problem is it's selfish because you're worried about what others are going to think about you versus how you're going to help others. So even that is selfish. It is, even though it's normal. The second is also selfish, which is you worry about how you will look. About how you look when you're doing video. Dude, the worse I look, the better the video tends to do anyway, honestly. Like I had one of my sales reps, we were in Austin, Texas, going to an event, and we were going to go to the gym that morning, and his hair was freaking crazy. Like, I don't have that much hair, but his hair was everywhere, right? And I said, he was about to go fix his hair in the mirror. I said, nope, don't fix your hair. Take out your phone, walk and talk in the hallway about how bad of a hair day you're having. He did that. His engagement went through the roof. It was his most engaged video ever because he was vulnerable, transparent, right?
Yeah.
The second reason, we're worried about what we look like. Third reason, we don't know what to talk about, which is a big one as well. Easiest way to figure out what to talk about is, say you're selling Medicare. Go find other people on Medicare on TikTok or wherever, YouTube, right? And then go see what they've done and get ideas from what they've done that is already done well. I'm going to save some of this for the influencer retreat because you and I could go a whole day on this.
Oh, yeah. 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 Let's talk about that, wrapping things up here. So we've got this influencer invitation. What is this? How does it work? Give us more info.
Yeah, so we're doing this in Springfield, Missouri, May 1st through the 3rd. At the time of recording this, it's a month out. And Dave and I are going to be there. Alex Branning. There's a bunch of other really cool names going to be a part of this, like influencer retreat. And Dana Neeson, et cetera, and Arturo. And then when we're doing this this retreat, we're going to be sharing value that we are learning as we've been building a following and building businesses. And I'm confident that from a value standpoint and like informational standpoint, with a bunch of like marketers in the room, so to speak, it'll be one of the most valuable rooms that I've been in because of the collective knowledge that's going to be shared. I'll be sharing about all the stuff that we're doing to grow our stuff. Most people are like, dude, why would you and Dave just keep sharing the stuff that's working? Yeah, because dude, other people shared with us. So why wouldn't we share with other people? Right.
And sharing and teaching, first of all, teachers learn, and they get better faster. I think there's a secret with that. The other thing too is that when there's a synthesis of different people who have had success in the same room, there's all sorts of opportunities for just connections you wouldn't see that you don't see normally that you would see. That's why I'm coming, me, like I barely get out of my own house and do any kind of events, I'm like, this is one event I won't miss, because if you're serious about brand building, serious about having a team, if you're serious about, getting attention online, like I want to be here. You got to be there. So, be there or be square. That's what I have to say. How can people find out more about this who would be interested?
Yeah, so they could shoot me an email, Cody Askins, and I'll give them a call and we can chat. I can send more information. We don't really have a web page up yet because it's like a private invitational. So I want to know everyone and approve everybody.
Is this open to anybody? Like, do they have to have a following? Do they have to have a channel? Like, what are some of the standards? Because people might be talking themselves out of it without realizing they may be okay to come.
Yeah, I would say anybody's okay to come naturally. I don't want to ever keep anybody from being in a room. I mean, you've probably got to be in good graces to a degree with Dave and I, or I'm just not going to want to hang out with you really.
Yeah.
However, the end of the day, I went into a room of a couple billionaires were doing this private mastermind that it was supposed to be 50 grand. I paid 25K for years ago. And this retreat's way less than that, right? However, I went in that room with about 12, 15 other people, and the knowledge that I gained in 2 days, it was like next level revolutionary. And so anytime I can get in a room like this with peers that are on the same mission as me, that are doing really cool stuff, I want to do that and learn.
Yeah. So email you. So it's Cody@CodyAskins.com, and then say, tell me more about the Influencer Invitational, and then you'll get them information.
Yes, sir. That's perfect. Yeah.
Cool, man.
Appreciate you being a part of it too, buddy. It's gonna be a blast.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna drive up there and look forward to those few days that we'll be together. It'll be fun.
Absolutely.
Cody, thank you for being here. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you, brother. Thanks for having me back.